Welcome everyone. As you are joining, we're just going to kick off here in about a minute. In the meantime, I'm going to challenge everyone, if you are sitting at your desk, to turn your cameras on, have a smiling face, say hello to the people in this room with you, and say hello in the chat. So put in your name, where you work, what you do. And I'd also love to hear what your superpower is. So if someone in this group or someone in our region needed your help, what would they come to you for? So drop your economic development superpower or whatever your professional superpower is in the chat. Let folks know how you can help. And let's start to introduce ourselves, and we will kick it off with a bang here. I also know that a lot of folks are joining this call. You might be multitasking. You might just not be in the mood to show your face on camera today, and that's okay. So don't worry, I'm not going to call you out. But if you're here and you're present and you're able to put a name to a face, then please do introduce yourself in the chat. And welcome to the Connecting SOMO webinar. My name is Crystal Owens. I'm the Startup Program Director for codefi, and I'll be facilitating our conversation today. If you're new here, Innovate SOMO is the joint organization that was started by eFactory based in Springfield, Missouri, and codefi, which is headquartered in Cape Girardeau, but we've had a Springfield location for the last couple of years as well. Connecting SOMO always happens, or I should say normally happens, on the second Tuesday of the month at 2 p.m. unless something crazy goes down, and then we might switch it around. But for the most part, you can count on the second Tuesday of every month, 2 p.m., the regions, the lower 47 counties of Southern Missouri coming together for this conversation. So hope it's on your calendar. Invite a friend or colleague next time. We always have a great conversation. Today, we're actually going to be chatting about two tech startup related support resource opportunities. That's going to be Invest SOMO and Traction Studio AI. And then we'll go into a few other opportunities in the network as well. So if you're just logging on, again, I encourage you to say hello in the chat, not just who you are, your contact information, what you do, but I'd love to hear, what is your superpower? What is your economic development superpower, your professional superpower? If someone needs help in this group today, what would they come to you for? So please share it in the chat so we can be good stewards of all of our resources. So again, my name's Crystal. I work for codefi, and we also have a special guest today, Jody Chaffin, who is the Chief Venture Officer of codefi. You may have seen his name floating around in various spaces and places, and he's here today to talk to us about Traction Studio. I also have a couple of helpers who will be monitoring the chat today, dropping in different links. So Nikki Donaldson with the eFactory crew, and Ashlyn Richardson on the codefi crew. So thank you both for being here today and helping us have a seamless and fun experience. So to kick us off, we wanted to just talk a little bit about Invest SOMO. You might have seen some social media posts or some blurbs about this in the various newsletters. This is a private 2-day pitch event happening right here in Springfield, Missouri, where we are bringing in some high quality tech founders and startups that have gone through the codefi pipeline of support. And we are curating a group of founders to be able to pitch to a group of investors that we've curated as well. So we're still calling for founders. We have applications open until tomorrow. So if you happen to know any tech founders in your area that maybe have missed this opportunity or haven't heard about it yet, feel free to send them our way. And I'll also note that we are still curating our investors. So beyond just this event for pitching for founders to get capital, we are looking for investors who are interested in our Innovate SOMO funds and who maybe want to learn a little bit more about the type of work we do, the type of capital that we try to provide. And really, this matters because startups in smaller and rural markets, like here in Southern Missouri, often get left out of capital resources. They either have to go to the coast or the larger city for these things. So we're actually bringing it to our region so that folks can stay in the region and ultimately have prosperity and economic development for Southern Missouri as a whole. So again, if you know of any tech founders, please send them our way. Day one of this private event is for pre-seed companies, and day two of the private event is for seed companies. Some of those companies are founders that have been in the Springfield area before or surrounding region. They haven't necessarily gone through our programs, but they are high quality. There's high potential there. So again, this is a very curated experience, not just a off the mill pitch event. It's something that we've worked hard to bring all these pieces together so that the right people are in the right room together at the right time. And really, this is driven by Codify's value of accessibility, innovation, collaboration, resilience, and impact. So we're really working to build a self-sustaining ecosystem where successful tech founders get that investment into their companies and then they invest back into the communities. So moving right along here, Jody Chaffin is going to be talking to us about Traction Studio today. I've had the pleasure of working with Jody for the last few months, and we are super lucky to have him here at Codify. For those of you who don't know, Codify is eliminating the skills and opportunity gaps that typically keep smaller communities outside of larger metropolitan areas from thriving in a digital economy. So we bring adult tech education. So we train front-end and back-end developers. We also have ongoing tech education like skills forge development with UI, UX, data analytics, AI. The list goes on and we're adding to it every day. So for those who might be looking for a new career in tech, you can always come to Codify. And then we also have a startup side of the business and a venture development side of the business where we're helping early stage tech founders go from ideation to investment ready as quick as possible. And we also do product development. So for industry experts or folks who have an existing business and they know that there could be a software that could help improve their business, we have an internal agency-like development where you can come to us and we will help you build out your tech business. So you can read a little bit here about Jody. I hope you have been, but he is going to kick it off now and talk a little bit about Traction Studio.
Hi.
So Jody, I will hand it over to you.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Crystal. Let's go ahead and move to the next slide. So Traction Studio, we announced this during Innovate SOMO week that we were getting ready to launch this, and we will be launching this later this summer. We've already started some alpha testing and are trying to sign up beta testers. But kind of give you an idea of what Traction Studio is, it's really a software system that is designed to create an entire ecosystem for founders, entrepreneur support organizations, ESOs, and investors. So it's not just a tool for someone to throw an idea into an AI system and it spit out everything it needs to know and you go off in your merry way. It's really what it's doing is taking the methodology that we've used for over a decade to help people start businesses and putting that into a software system where they can move at their own pace. So let's go to the next slide. The shift that's kind of going on right now, there's just so much information available to people these days. And so with vibe coding and the ability to, create software very quickly with a smaller team, founders are trying to really move faster than ever. And they kind of have to be competitive. And the thing that we're seeing, that we're feeling, and I'm sure all of you are feeling, that all the ESOs are really stretched thin, and it's very hard to scale the programs that we have because of limited financial resources, limited number of people that can help folks, and investors are really just getting pitched constantly, and they want more information. They want to know that an idea has actually been properly vetted and is valid before it comes to them. So it's really no one's fault. It's just a pace problem, and that's what we're trying to address. So on the next slide, the problem for the founders, they don't really know what to do. If you're a tech founder, you think, well, I'll start building some code and I'll throw it out on a website and people will just magically come and I'll make all kinds of money. It was the dream of the app stores during the mobile evolution, and with AI now you can build things quickly. So people still think they just don't know what they need to do to be able to really take an idea and validate that idea and make sure that they're building something to solve a problem that people are willing to pay to have solved. Um, and so they don't know what to test, they don't know what to do next, and they can ask AI, what are the steps and things, but they're not going to really get the direction that they need. So there's a real opportunity for, those founders who need that structure but want to keep at a pace. One of the things that we've learned is that, having cohorts is great in that, the different founders can kind of talk to one another. But the thing is you have some people who are working full time who want to go much faster, and you've got other people who are working part time who can't keep up, and it's just very difficult to get a cohort moving all the same direction at the same time. And the entrepreneur support organizations, they really need tools to amplify their work and be able to increase the reach of their programs. So even, like with us, we're blessed to have, James Stapleton, our primary instructor for these startup programs, but it's limited. It's difficult to scale, and create copies of James. And so, that makes it difficult for folks like us to be able to, expand our reach. And so, on the third kind of, stool on this leg is the investors. They want clarity. They want to see traction metrics. They want to understand that, people are actually solving a problem that's worth them investing in. So the idea is, what if we could align all of these together and show progress all along the way? So in the next slide, you'll see that kind of what we're introducing is Traction Studio AI. And it's, like I said before, it's not some sort of genie in a bottle where you type in, hey, I've got this idea for this, business, and it gives you all this information or anything like that. It basically combines all the methods and support and guidance that we all give, as ESOs through a methodology, but it uses AI to allow you to both learn and achieve at the same time. So it's not a purely academic system where you're just learning terms and things that you should go do and go figure out how to do on your own. And it's not just handing you, the answers, but it's kind of working like a AI co-founder in that it's helping you build those solutions as you're learning the principles behind it. So instead of jumping in and building a solution, let's first validate that the problems we're solving and figure out, is it desirable? Is it viable? Is it feasible? And can we move it into something that someone would invest in? So some of the key features that we're working in, is having that AI powered knowledge to where we can teach as well as actually produce outcomes, and then having things that are in a methodology that goes from idea to investor ready. So the end goal of the first phase of this is getting someone ready to pitch for that pre-seed investment, and then the phase two will be getting them ready to start gaining traction, expanding traction, and getting ready for seed investment, and then eventually being able to just scale and grow through your next series of raises or exit. And then we really want to bring everybody together through this. We want to create an ecosystem where it's not just a founder in there working with another piece of software that outputs something and then they go pitch someone and the investor finds out about it, a week before they see them knocking on their door for money. But it's something that the founders, the investors, the ESOs can all see the progress, all be involved in it, be able to provide feedback along the path that the founder's on. And everybody is gaining not only momentum, but also excitement and knowledge about what, this potential new business could solve. And you can see here, I'm not going to read it to you, but we have some people alpha testing and we've got a quote there that you can look at. So why does this work? So there's no guesswork. I remember, 15 years ago when I was starting the App Pros, it's like, what do I do? How do I get started? And well, someone says you need a business license. Okay, you go to the business license office, you get a business license. Okay, what do I do next? What do I do next? And you're just constantly being introduced to different people and they give you a little piece of the puzzle. But what this is all about is really trying to give you a plan and a methodology that takes you from, okay, I've got this idea, but I'm not really sure all the way to, yeah, I'm definitely sure I'm ready to put my money into this, my time, my effort, and I'm excited about, sharing it with others who want to do that with me. And with this, it's very measurable. So we can see people's progress. We can see how long they're staying on a particular step, and we can refine this process as we go to help people, where we need to inject maybe a little bit more education or inject a little bit more support. So right now, like I mentioned, we're kind of in alpha testing. We've got a few folks using the system, testing it out, getting really good feedback and results. We've been using it ourselves to test out some ideas that we've had and gotten excellent results. So we're definitely in the middle of software development. These are a few of the screens that you can see that we're working on, and right now we've kind of got a landing page up. If you want to go to the next slide. At tractionstudio.ai, and you can learn a little bit more about it. And we're really looking for all three of these, groups to come together and help us build this. So for founders, we're wanting people to sign up and be beta testers, get in early and try it out. For all of you and other ESOs, we want to talk about how can we make this useful for you? Would you like a white label solution? Would you like something that you could use and bring in founders that you're working with, and then investors, get them involved early so that they can kind of see how the process flows and help us figure out what tools they need beyond what we're already building into it to help them make the right decisions about investments. And I think yeah, so that's pretty much it. At this point, just let Crystal kind of wrap us up and then answer any questions that you might have.
Yeah, thanks, Jody. I actually so folks, you can read the screen here, but one thing I was curious to have you talk about today, Jody, is um, you know, the platform is focused obviously largely on tech-based businesses. And the Innovate SOMO network as a whole, we support all entrepreneurs of all industries and backgrounds, brick and mortar businesses, not just tech businesses, though Codify focuses just on tech-based businesses. But I'm curious how you might frame this, like how might economic developers think about the spillover effects and the positive effects of a platform like this? Maybe how tech startups can create more jobs. This attracts investment. Like how do you envision this sort of overflowing and affecting the region as a whole?
Yeah, so like I said, well, Traction Studio AI is really designed to kind of help tech founders build the investor-ready, business. It really has a kind of a ripple effect, especially in the smaller and more rural communities, because we're supporting, scalable startups. It really, hopefully, roots those jobs locally. And it would attract outside investment, so it brings more energy into the local environment. And then it, hopefully definitely would be, boosting demand for complementary services like, software development, design, marketing, legal. If it's not a tech business, all those other things, bookkeeping, all those other things would still apply. And over time, it's going to foster a real culture of innovation, encouraging, talent retention and ecosystem development. And I think the economic developers in each region can see it as both a kind of a tool for founders, but also a kind of a regional growth engine.
Yeah, thanks for laying that out. And I guess sort of just a follow-up question to that is, how would you envision like an economic development agency or professionals like fitting into the equation?
Yeah, so I think it is the big thing is just going to give everyone more insight to what the founders are doing, what they're learning, where they're stuck, and metrics on all of that. So where they need more education, where they need more support, where they need to be connected, to other thought leaders and businesses that can help them. And so today a lot of what we do as in this world is guesswork. We're trying to figure out where someone needs help and helping them get through the process smoothly. And I think with a tool like Traction Studio that gives us a lot of feedback and input, we'll know that a little bit more, instantaneously.
Yeah, it's been really interesting, on this side of leading up to Traction Studio being created, because we try to, as an organization, we teach tech founders how to experiment, pivot, get the data, and change course when needed. And after doing this work for so many years, we keep collecting the same data of there's only so many tech experts that we could hire to coach and train. But with a platform like this, it brings the work, it becomes a little more collaborative. It's not as siloed. And it's just way more transparent. Everyone has a look into real-time progress, the real obstacles. And it also helps us understand how tech founders are thinking and the types of issues that they're coming up against as they're working through the platform. So I'll stop rambling now, but I'm curious, does anyone else have any questions? You could react and raise a hand, or if there's anything in the chat, let's see. So Osby is asking, is it also being beta tested with non-tech businesses? So not at the moment. This is strictly for software as a service or tech-based businesses. And Jody, I'll let you maybe expand upon that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you have someone that you're working with who is not a tech founder, let's talk, because the tools we're building, while they're focused on tech startups, and there's pieces of it within the flow that are going to be very tech focused, I still think that we could probably help a non-technical founder at least with some of the basics. The idea of getting to validating an idea, going out and talking to people, interviewing them to find out what the real problem is. How have they found alternate solutions to solving that problem, or what products did they buy instead of maybe the product that you're envisioning? And all of that's the same whether you're doing a tech business or not. So there's definitely pieces of it, but then we take it quite a bit further, for the tech founder, like helping them create like a landing page and helping them envision what an MVP would look like and understanding what a technical build process would be, because we're really seeing, a few personas from the founder side. With a tech startup, you could have someone who is an engineer, who wants to build software, but they don't really know business. And conversely, you could have someone who is very, well versed in sales and business and things like that, but don't have an engineering background, so they wouldn't know how to build the software. So it's really designed to help either one of those type of folks. And I think that kind of takes, similar to your non-technical founder, they would be, maybe an expert in whatever it is that they're trying to build, but they're maybe not a business expert, don't know how to start and launch a business and validate a problem.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. I think some of the folks we love working with are non-technical founders, but they understand an industry and a problem in that industry really well because they've been in that industry for 5, 10, 15 years. So to that we say, come one, come all. we would love to have you and test with you. And really, at the heart of this is we focus on solving problems. So we really try to help reframe the thinking on not starting with the solution, validate the idea first, and then you build it. And with traction, it's going to help achieve that early validation a lot quicker. If there's any other questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat and we will get to those. This is just a reminder. I mean, the Innovate SOMO network exists because we're trying to connect workers to training, entrepreneurs to resources, and employers to talent. So this all works together in one cohesive piece, and Traction Studio AI is just another part of that piece that we're excited to introduce. So as we are wrapping up here, just a plug for some upcoming opportunities. So through the eFactory and SBDC, they are recruiting for their early stage business boot camps. Those applications or registrations rather are open in Laclede County, Joplin, and Springfield Greene County. And then if you are an existing business, and I think it's if you have between 10 and 100 employees, and forgive me, I can't remember the exact number of revenue, but if you're an existing business and you're looking to scale, the Elevate program in partnership with the Edward Lowe Foundation is an awesome opportunity through the eFactory and Missouri Small Business Development Center. So definitely reach out for more info about that. And then at Codify, we have some exciting new courses coming up in the fall. Those applications are not quite open yet, but keep an eye out. We have 2 Skills Forge courses coming up. So these are shorter term courses, and that will be the UI UX course and a data analytics course. So keep an eye out for those. And as a reminder, the next Connecting SOMO webinar is coming up on July 8th at 2 p.m. And we're going to go into the legislative session recap. So we've announced some exciting things over the last few weeks, and we'll really be diving into those at the next session. Does anyone have any other questions, thoughts, or maybe a shameless plug or exciting opportunity in your community? Please feel free to drop it in the chat. And otherwise, I'll just give you a couple seconds here. I'm scanning. I see no hands, no questions. All right, well, I think we're actually ending early today. Let it be known. Write it down in the record books. Thank you all so much for attending. We really appreciate the work that you're doing around the region to make the network what it is. We couldn't do it without you. It's not about Codify and eFactory. It's also about the work that you all are doing out there. And we know it's good work, and it's supporting economic development in the region. So keep it up, and we will see you all in a month. Happy summer.